Hi, welcome to Week in Review, where we catch up on some of the headlines making news. I'm joined today with Graham Brewer from our breaking news desk, Josh Delaney from our enterprise desk, and my old friend Don Mecoy, our business editor. I'm Phil O'Connor, the live enterprise director. We have a lot of stuff going on this week. Graham Brewer just back from the police station this morning, where we've got some new information on the tragic shooting out at the airport earlier this week. Graham, what'd you find out?
Well, what I learned today from Captain Balderrama was that Lloyd Bowie actually brought his truck there to the parking garage several days before he shot Michael Winchester. And essentially what he did was he picked out the parking spot he wanted, put his truck there, and he would come back periodically over the course of the next few days and kind of wait, I think, probably to see who his victim would be, waiting for a specific person. I don't know specifically who that might be. And then he'd take a cab or a bus, I guess presumably home, when he didn't see who he wanted, and come back the next day.
So there was speculation early on or not speculation, but people weren't essentially sure that Winchester was the target. Mm-hmm. But it sounds like now maybe if he's coming back day after day, waiting, and then Michael Winchester is the person who eventually ends up getting shot, that maybe Winchester was the person he was possibly targeting. We also learned a little bit about Bowie has a military background, I understand. What do we hear about that?
We don't know a whole lot about his military background. A lot's being reported that we haven't been able to confirm yet, but we know that he did serve in the Army. But other than that, I'm really not entirely sure where he served or in what capacity. And
then we also heard that there was questions about he died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound, and the police are confirming today that a handgun was also recovered at the scene.
Correct. He shot Winchester with a rifle and then shot himself with a handgun that was also recovered in his truck.
Okay. And we'll have a lot more on that in tomorrow's Oklahoman, and we'll have more on it today on News OK. Let's look to a story that we've got coming up this weekend in the wake of the presidential election. A lot of concern among groups here in Oklahoma about the rise in hate speech and kind of conflicts growing out of a very divided and divisive election campaign. Josh, what are you hearing?
Well, before and after the election, we've seen really a rash of incidents in different spots around the state, particularly on college campuses. We've seen white nationalist flyers posted. We've seen protests against Black Lives Matter. They've been called racist thugs by a group that's been on campuses, different parts of the state, OU and also southeastern Oklahoma State. There are groups out there that are concerned about this. They've called advocacy organizations such as CARE, such as the ACLU. They're concerned. And then the question is, who's to blame for this? Are fringe groups out there feeling emboldened in the aftermath of the election? Can the blame be laid at the feet of Donald Trump? Some groups say absolutely yes, and others say not so fast.
Right. And we also had Jeanette Mendez, the head of the political science department at OSU, point out that 51 million racists did not vote for Donald Trump, that he had the support of a broad spectrum of Americans. And she pointed out that this, people are taking advantage of an opportunity here. But at the same time, you have appointments being made that do seem to raise concerns about some of the rhetoric that's been spoken by some of these folks. Steve Bannon, even Michael Flynn today. It comes out that the comments that he's made in the past about Muslims and stuff. David Boren made a big statement on the campus the other day. He picked up a megaphone. Tell us a little bit about what Debo had to say to the student body that day.
Well, Debo was also taken to Twitter to say that hate and bigotry and intolerance will not be allowed on his campus. In fact, one of these anti-Black Lives Matter groups was there earlier this week, and Mr. Boren took to the bullhorn to say that folks do have the right to free speech,
and he's doing this about 20 yards away from where the other guy is holding his demonstration.
Yes.
Almost a counter demonstration to the demonstration.
Little verbal scrum there, and he said, "Hey, I have free speech as well," and he does not support the kind of rhetoric that is out there, and got some cheers from the students out there. So
Yeah, we'll have a full story on that this weekend in Sunday's paper. You can look for that. Don, what do we got going on in business?
Well, this weekend, our Steve Lackmeyer, who covers a lot of stuff having to do with downtown development, is looking at affordable housing. It's interesting, whenever Steve does these online chats, which he normally does every week, a lot of times he gets asked by people, hey, it's great, we're having all this downtown development, there's new apartments, there's hotels, there's homes being built. I can't afford the stuff that's being built downtown. I'd love to live there, it's not in my price range. Well, he found there is one affordable housing project that is being built on Classen, around 13th and Classen. It's called the Commons. It's the first affordable housing to have been built in downtown Oklahoma City in decades. He also looked at some affordable housing numbers for Oklahoma City as a whole, and while Oklahoma City does continue to have the rent prices basically are affordable when you compare it to other cities around the country, but from like 2010 to 2014, our rents increased at a pace that was pretty amazing when you look at all these cities. We're ranking up there with cities like San Francisco and Austin at rent increases from 2010 to 2014. So while our housing stock, apartment housing stock, remains affordable, it's really gone up in price. And so there's a lot of things coming together, and he takes kind of a broad look and gives some really good examples of where we are with affordable housing and where the city wants to go.
Is that partly the result of the economic boom?
I think so. 2014 is when oil prices collapsed. So you've got 2010, you're coming out of the Great Recession, which didn't hit us as hard as some other parts of the country, and particularly in the housing market. And you've got this huge upswing in oil prices, got all the way up to $100 a barrel. And that's where our numbers stop for those apartment rent increases. So that probably plays a role there.
Okay, another interesting story you guys had this week was the naming of the new park and what it might be. I was just kind of fascinated by that Steve does not want it to apparently be Oklahoma City Park.
Well, I think Steve was just trying to make the point. We've had some big maps projects, the Boulevard, which people are driving on now, and as I understand are now receiving speeding tickets on, so watch out, is called Oklahoma City Boulevard. The Convention Center, one of the biggest maps projects, is going to be called the Oklahoma City Convention Center. And Steve said, hey, we've got this big park going in. Surely we're not going to call it Oklahoma City Park. And he just kind of wanted to raise a flag and say, hey, what do you guys think about it? I mean, he said, here's a couple of names. We could call it Union Station Park. That's one of the landmarks that was there, and where that property is. And so he was soliciting some ideas. I actually got a couple of people send me things on Twitter, some of them tongue-in-cheek, others not so much. But it was just, he's trying to start a discussion, and I think that's a good thing.
So it's not Maps 3 Park? I always thought it was going to be Maps 3 Park. No,
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't
Decoy
know.
Park, possibly? No?
I seriously doubt that.
Okay, all right. Well, listen, that's the kind of news you can find on newsok.com. You can pick up your paper and read these kinds of stories every day. Please subscribe. Check us out online. We'd love to have you see what we do every day. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.